Jibril, angel. And Jibril gave it to Muhammad to someone. He gave it to a prophet. This is my belief. I'm telling you my belief. Yeah, no problem. My belief. Yeah, it's okay. I'm not even repeating myself. So what channel am I giving you referring to?
Huh?
What channel is it?
Mercy to all mankind.
Mercy to mankind.
He's not even doing a...
Information. The Quran gave
Okay, give me one. Look, only one. Oh, I like it. Also, Jesus Christ referred to God as his father. They wanted to stone him to death because he was making himself equal with God. That's what they said. That's why the Jews wanted to stone Jesus Christ to death, because by calling God Father, Muslims, that's why Jesus Christ was crucified for blasphemy, because he was making himself God. That's why they put him away. That's why they stoned him. That's why he was murdered. That's why he was nailed to the cross. Because of blasphemy. By the chief priest, by the high priest, when he was pronounced the Son of God, said, I am. But henceforth I will see the Son of Man ascending and descending. I see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. They which have Yes, I am. When they said, I am the Son of the Blessed, I am the Son of God, I am. And henceforth you shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven. Jesus Christ, God manifest in the flesh. Who else could say, I am the first and I am the last, but Jesus Christ could. Only God can say that. Thus says the Lord. Thus says Jehovah God, the King of Israel. I am the first, I am the last, and beside me there is no other. Jesus Christ is the King of Israel. That's what Nathaniel said. And Jesus said,
Have some shame, stop saying.
I am God. I am the first and I am the last. Thus says the Yes, he did say, I am God. You must have to say, where did Jesus Christ say, I am I am the first, and I am the last, and beside me.
Every time they run away and left the prophet to die, every time they disobeyed, every time they raised their voice above the prophet, every time they did
Shamsi, brother, how are
you? Today black. What's up? Muharram, Ashura, what is it?
هاي شيعة شيعة.
Shia, yes. Come on. واللي كان يحارب الاستعمار شو حبيبي واسمك لا يمكن هذا عياشة
ما شجعت معك
فلسطين طلع هذا تهنئة
والله يبغى الجارية تشوف وين
slavery according to Islam. Right? Point number one. Muhammad himself can I get with you on a few different people groups? Number one, black people. Number two, unbelievers. Especially women. Very delicate review. People, including Muhammad himself, are slaves. Harsh punishments, harsh dealing with slaves. Slaves are torture, sex torture for female slaves. Slaves had no rights, and slaves no legal rights, no civil rights. They were treated as merchandise and so on. According to Islam, there was no intention to manumit, i.e. to abolish slavery. Muhammad himself allowed Islamic slavery to be propagated until perpetuity. So Islam is a very bad model for today, because according to Islam, Islamic slavery is still a valid model to be practiced and will be practiced even till the end of times. In contrast, when we come to the Bible considers every human being to be similar.
when we compare the Bible, Jesus Christ with Muhammad, we see someone who is well fitting into the 21st century model, where we hate racism, where we hate slavery. So Jesus Christ is the only person that needs to be followed in terms of our modern views of slavery, abolishing of slavery, and our modern views on the fact of human beings being similar. Muhammad is not a good example of people of today, and therefore Muhammad ought to be rejected. So in particular, I'd like to ask the question to Muhammad, who is here. Muhammad, the so-called Islamic prophet, approves of having sex with captive women at will by Muslims. Do you think that's a very good model for today to practice? When Muslims go to capture non-Muslims, do you think Muslims should have the ability and permission from Muhammad and Islamic law to have sex with
Why is he sweating?
women at all times?
Why is he sweating? Yeah.
Do you think that approach human values properly?
Sunday sparring sessions with subpar opponents like this man here. Clearly is not articulate enough and hasn't used enough evidences from Quran. If I recall, he hasn't used any evidence. He had papers in his hands, but he couldn't quote a single verse of Quran, a single hadith. Unfortunately today, what I will be doing is the opposite of that without the papers in my hands. So the Quran states something which refutes almost everything it states, which is in chapter 90 of the Quran, where it says, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْعَقَبَةُ وَرَقَبَةُ. What would make you know what the good way is? Freeing slaves is the good way.
Allahu Akbar.
So the idea that the manumission of slaves or the emancipatory discourse was that which is not mentioned in the Quran, but in fact the opposite of what is mentioned. It's something directly refuted.
I have to get in. You know how he's like.
Now this verse, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْعَقَبَةُ is not an abrogated verse. Now I'd like to know how my friend here
Give me a minute.
But not only this, we find in the Quran, in chapter 9, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the categories of zakat, which is, as you know, one of the 5 pillars of Islam. There are 5 pillars of Islam, I guess we should base some of the time. One of them is zakat, the charity. And so one of the categories of charity is wafir riqab, and freeing slaves. So here you have 2 things. You have an emancipatory discourse in chapter 19 of the Quran, and then you have the Quran saying one of the obligations, which is zakat, you have to spend the money to emancipate slaves. And then we have all of these ahadith of the Prophet Muhammad telling us the virtue of freeing slaves. Now, this already has refuted almost everything that he has said. Let's move to the Bible now for a nice discussion about Numbers chapter number 31, verse number 18, which of course is going to be a difficult verse for my honorable friend. And of course I use the term loosely here. To explain where Moses is told to go into the town, and he is taking the young girls to the south. Now, what young girls is he talking about here? When you look at the time below the top, which is actually exiting this particular verse, girls for yourself. As captive. Now the idea is this: I want to know of a single verse of the Quran or a single hadith are told to take in fact, not only this,
Is this yours?
but if you believe that they believe that Jesus is God, because he's told the truth, and therefore he's actually the author of the Old Testament as well, because he's God, he's not inseparable from the rest of the Trinity, right? So of course, we have a double problem here. Jesus Christ is the one that is commanding Moses to go and take captives, which are girls, for himself in chapter 31, verse 18 of Numbers. So this refutes the second limitation we had, that Jesus was completely disassociated from these slaves. So you have two things here. You have a complete refutation of the fact that there's no emancipation, which there is. And then you have a charge which I'm putting forward.
He said now, I don't believe in Allah.
I know this guy. This is the
Yeah.
the small one. Like he said from us. Yeah, I know this guy.
All right. So Muhammad here was are really subpar. Let's look at both of them carefully. What happened? Read the verse carefully. The context corresponds to Moabites. Might have heard about a person called Balaam, acting on behalf of Moabites, leading the nation of Israel to sexual immorality, and thereby allowing Balaam to be able to curse the nation of Israel. That's the historical context. People who were involved in sexual immorality. In that as the backdrop, what Moses said, read the verse carefully. Wasn't talking about puberty, nothing about adolescence.
He didn't prepare his homework correct. He's stuck all time. This guy just shouting and screaming. That's it. You don't understand from him anything.
What was he talking about? What he was talking about was those who did not lead you to sexual immorality. Those kinds of girls, I challenge Muhammad, why did you mention puberty? You need to show me that from the Bible. When the Bible talks about intimacy, number one. Number two, the Bible show to me where these ladies were taken as captives. Read the Bible carefully. What you would find is that everyone else were wiped out, whereas these were allowed to live along with the nation of Israel. That is what you would find. So find one example from the Bible. From the Bible, anywhere, old, new, anywhere you want to go to, Muhammad, and find at the end of the war, the women are taken as captives to be held as slaves. Find one example, and then let's talk about facts. The problem is this: Muhammad is a Muslim, and therefore clearly he is going to have his issues with his eyes. The problem anywhere, everywhere, whatever he reads, he is going to read Islam into it. Why do I say he is reading Islam into biblical verses? Nowhere in the Bible you would see these women being taken as captives and made slaves to people. You don't find that in the Bible, yet he reads that. And the reason for that is Muhammad allowed slavery to continue until the end of his life. Sahih al-Bukhari, you say slavery, slaves were manumitted, and that's one of the 5 pillars. Sahih al-Bukhari disagrees with you. Chapter 3, verse saying 765. 765. Sahih al-Bukhari 3, 765. Narrated Turib, the free slave of Ibn Abbas. Maimuna bin al-Harith told him that she manumitted a slave girl without taking the permission of the Prophet. A person comes to Muhammad and she says, I have manumitted a slave. The great Islamic Allah who he thinks allowed Islamic Prophet to manumit slaves. Do you know what he says? He says, why did you do it? Why did you let her go? Whereas the Bible dislikes the idea of people being taken as captive slaves, women especially, Muhammad here goes on to say, you would have got more reward if you had given her to one of your maternal uncles. So the idea that Islamic so-called prophet called Muhammad implemented manumission of slaves is a fantasy idea, doesn't correspond to reality. Let me ask you this, Muhammad.
Alright, thank you for that. Unfortunately, you haven't done a good job in answering my interrogation. Actually, the verse says, take the little ones for yourself. This is chapter 31, verse 18 of Numbers. Take them for yourself. And if you're saying this doesn't imply captivity, if you're saying this does not imply captivity, then you'll be going against all halakhic understandings by the Jewish people who have been interpreting this for decades, in fact, actually, millennia. And I will say to you once again, go back to the Talmud. There's two Talmuds, the Babylonian one and the Jerusalem one. Go and see what the rabbis have said in relation to this verse. They clearly understood it to mean captivity. Okay, you don't like this verse. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 2, where it talks about going the way of the Amalekites and don't leave anything alive, and even the donkey, women, children, and even the donkey. And in other places it says kill everything. So actually, the injunctions in Numbers chapter 31, verse 18, are a step down, even though they mean captivity to women. They're a step down from what we find in 1 Samuel 15. Because in 1 Samuel 15, we see everybody's genocided and everybody's killed. And once again, we have to bring to the attention of the Christian community that you may say this is the Old Testament and the Sacrament of the 1860s. But if you believe that Jesus is inseparable from the Trinity, then you believe that he was the author of the Old Testament, which means that at one point in time, he must have ordered Moses to do those genocides and kill those children and kill those animals. This is clear, and this is the understanding of the rabbis, and this is the understanding, quite frankly, of even reformers, theologians like John Calvin, who exegeted the Bible. Look at how people exegeted the Bible away from this pathetic apologism that you're finding here from this people. You'll find that it's a consistent theme, that they understood it in the way of genocide and captivity and slavery. In fact, racial slavery, which he had the audacity to accuse our prophet of, is like the fact that he is the only man, and Islam is the only religion which categorically forbids racism. And I say that to you, get me one verse of the Bible which has the equivalent of saying racism is wrong. I can get you a hadith straight away. That there is no virtue over an Arab over a non-Arab, or a black man over a white man, and that the best of you are those most in virtue. Get me the equivalent of that in the Bible. We find the opposite in the Bible. Genesis chapter 9, verse number 22, we find the curse of Ham. Noah had 3 sons, and the biblical exegete said the curse of Ham was that he was cursed with black skin, curly hair, and slavery. And you see now that those who justify slavery in the transatlantic slave trade, obviously some use the Bible to, I will be honest, to attack slavery as well. But for the majority of those who propagated slavery, used this curse of Ham as a justification. You can't come to me and talk about slavery. You can't come to me and talk about racism. Because the Bible, there is nothing in the Bible that forbids racism. We have Jesus Christ. 20 seconds. We have Jesus Christ. To end up in the New Testament, we have Jesus Christ shunning the Gentile woman and calling her of the dogs. This is racism, with all due respect. She's a dog because she's not a Jew. So here we find, my challenge is very clear. One verse of the Bible which categorically rejects slavery, and how to deal with those verses that I told you in chapter 19 and chapter 9.
Moment in time to get to know the topic first clearly. If you're going to talk about genocide and tribal advocate, we can get to that later. The point is pretty simple, Mohammed. If you want to listen here, the point is pretty simple. The entire narration of the nation of Israel was about God redeeming a people group as slaves, oppressed slaves, redeeming them and giving them liberty is the entire Old Testament, the beginning of the Old Testament. And Exodus chapter 22, verse 21, soon after God brings them out, this is what he says: not to mistreat a stranger or oppress him, because you were strangers in Egypt. The challenge that I had for you is very simple, Muhammad. Find one evidence. Read to me one evidence where you find people who are brought under captivity and made slaves to live with Israel, to be slaves with Israel. You won't be able to find. In contrast, what you will find is that in the Bible, you find God advocate similar law for foreigners and for the nation of Israel. God forbidding kidnapping, i.e. taking a person against his will, whether it's against his will and bringing him under captivity. You find people given rights, legal rights given to those who are working in Egypt. Exodus 22, 21. Not to mistreat a stranger or oppress him. No unfair treatment, no forced marriage. Jesus says, there is neither, New Testament says, Galatians 3:28, there is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither slave nor free. There is neither male nor female. So if you go through the Bible, the entire story about the Bible is redemption of slaves and people being made to live as free human beings, only an obligation under God. In contrast, what do you find? In contrast, you find Muhammad, in contrast, you find Muhammad having deep racism. Muhammad thinking 2 black people are equal to 1 Arab slave. Sahih Muslim 10:3901. Sahih al-Bukhari 9:89, 256. The black people were raisinets. Muhammad himself owned black slaves. Sahih Muslim 10:3901, 52334. Al-Tabari talking about black slavery, explaining it as the Africans having come from Ham and therefore ought to be enslaved. Tirmidhi Hadith 38, Muhammad says, when Allah created Adam, he stroked his right shoulder and took out the black race. That's it, they were goats. And he said to those who were on this right side toward paradise, and I don't care. He said to those who were on his left shoulder towards hell, and I don't care. What you find here is Muhammad saying all black people are destined to go to hell, and he doesn't even care about this. Not just this, Muhammad also considered anyone who is not a Muslim to be like cattle, like pigs, like sheep, cows, camels. And therefore, no wonder you find in Islam very evil treatment of unbelievers, non-Muslims, when they are caught during a war. What happens to them? They are taken, females are taken as sex slaves. Quran, Surah 4, Ayah 3, Surah 4, Ayah 24.
We'll get to 4, 3 minutes. So,
Would you please ask?
Alright, so he wanted something in the Bible. I gave him he got to Deuteronomy as well, chapter 21. That's something you can also go to Numbers 31:18. And if you go to 1 Samuel, the reason why I was mentioning genocide was because if the Bible, the biblical commandment was to kill the people, enslaving them is one notch below that. So it doesn't make sense to talk about morality when you're talking about going into an entire village of Amalekites and destroying and killing the entire population, not leaving even the animals to be alive. There is no such injunction that you will find anywhere in the Quran, and I once again challenge you to find me a single verse or a single hadith to that effect. Now, Yeah, so now let's quickly talk about what it was. The hadiths that he mentioned were false. That the black people on the right and the left. This is not, the word used in that hadith was not black. The word was dark. And this is in the Quran, that they will have darkened faces. And in fact, language is used when men practice something called infanticide, when they kill daughters that are girls, that their faces will be darkened and so on, and there's a reprimand in the Quran for that. It doesn't mean that it's talking about the race. And he talks about two black people being the thing for one. How is that the case? When Bilal ibn Rabah was bought by Abu Bakr Siddiq for a high price, very, very high price, and then when he was told afterwards, he said, I would have paid even more for it. So this is nonsense what you're talking about. Bilal ibn Rabah, which everyone knows who he is, married Hala bint Auf, who was an Arab, and he became the muezzin of the higher echelons of that particular Islamic society. There was no mention of his race in the derogatory way whatsoever. In fact, we have a narration where Bilal was actually abused by Abu Dhar al-Ghifari because he said to him that you are the son of a black woman. The Prophet got angry and he responded by saying what have you said and reprimanded him and told him not to say such a thing. So all of what you're doing is distorting and completely decontextualizing that which is correct. You haven't actually had any response for that which I've mentioned, which is that Jesus Christ, who is meant to be inseparable from the body of the Trinity, he is inseparable from the Trinity. He is the one who commanded to genocide and to enslave. You find in Numbers 31:18, you'll find in Deuteronomy chapter 21:10, you'll find in 1 Samuel chapter 15 verse 2, and this, look, you find here, whoever strikes his male or female servant, this is Exodus chapter 21 verse 20, whoever strikes his male or female servant with a staff, and if they have died by his hands, he shall be guilty of a crime. But if he survives for 1 day or 2, he shall not be subject to punishment because it is his money. And you see, if he beats him so badly that he doesn't survive, he doesn't get any crime because it is his money. This is the heart of objectification, of commodification, of all the things that you're accusing Islam of. You have no answer, my friend, to the emancipatory discourse that we find in Surah chapter number 19, and the fact that freeing slaves was something which is the zakat obligatory. Also, you'll find in chapter number 24, verse 33, that it's mentioned mukataba. And mukataba is the idea of somebody comes who is enslaved, and according to one opinion, according to Tafsir al-Qurtubi, that they have to be freed. If they say we don't want to, we want to ransom ourselves, they're enslaved. So in other words, the so-called master, they have to be freed.
All right, Muhammad is repeating his same erroneous points again. Who is Muhammad Hijab? Let's ask that simple question. His own scholar, Islamic scholar, says Muhammad Hijab is an infidel. Why do I say this? Because his own Islamic scholar, Sheikh Saleh Al-Fawzan, says slavery is part of Islam. Slavery is part of Islam. Slavery is part of jihad, and jihad will remain as long as there is Islam. So slavery is part of Islam, slavery is part of jihad, and jihad will remain as long as there is Islam. And he goes on to say, they are ignorant people like Muhammad Hijab here who think slavery, Islamic slavery has been abolished, are ignorant. They are not scholars. He said of people who express such opinions, they are merely writers. Whoever says such things is an infidel. Why does Muhammad Hijab say what he says at Hyde Park? Because he knows he can't say what this gentleman said from Saudi Arabia in a nation like ours. He knows it. If he says what he says from Saudi Arabia, he knows Islam would not spread even a tiny little bit it is attempting to do now. And that is why he doesn't do it. And that is why the Saudi Arabian Sheikh calls him an infidel. What do we find? He said Bilal was a black boy and treated with great respect. Bilal said to Abu Bakr, my dear friend Sahih al-Bukhari says, 557:99 says, Bilal, even up to the time of Abu Bakr, remained a slave. And that is very important for you to know. I don't care what he did. I don't care if he called people to pray. I don't care if he sang a few songs or any of those things. The question is, how did Muhammad treat him? Muhammad treated Bilal as a slave. So continued Abu Bakr. Muhammad was quite happy with this. He was quite happy with slaves continuing as slaves until the end of Islam, which is the end of times according to Islam, according to Muhammad, Hijab and any other knowledgeable Muslim. So the problem is this. In Islam, blacks, unbelievers, especially women, are treated in a bad way. They are seen as cattle, pigs, all sorts of derogatory terms. This resulted in harsh treatments of sex torture. Female slaves were tortured. Quran Surah 4:24. Quran Surah 4 verse 3. Surah 4, Ayah 29 and so on. Please answer, Muhammad, if the Quran says that Muslims can take any of the captive women who their right hands possess and have sex with them at any stage, any stage. Do you agree with this? If you had a wife who is a non-Muslim, and if Muslims were to get hold of her and say, she is my captive, I can do what I want to do with her, will you be happy? I'm assuming you won't be. And therefore, you need to agree, Islam does terrible things with slaves. Like I said earlier, Bilal and your mission are great. One of 5 pillars according to Muhammad. The problem, like I said earlier, Surah Sahih al-Bukhari 3765, Sahih al-Bukhari 55799, both of them are against this. Slaves were asked to continue as slaves.
I think it's self. I'm going to
go against them. They're dominate you. Pakistan. It's a conquered by Islam. All these countries.
Where does it say you can have sex with slaves?
They have conquered the people. So they have to obey.
All it says is that you're not allowed to marry a woman who's married. You
are not saying
your right hand doesn't mean that you can have sex with them.
you are not free will.
The idea of raping
Of your own.
whether she
You are
is a
free.
slave
You will live in
or whether she's
fear.
a wife.
Oh,
That's spoken about by the
live in
Salaf
fear.
of
Mentioning the name Muhammad.
Shafi'i mentioned
Muhammad is terrible.
Even Imam Malik mentions it, and the punishment of
All Muslims are conquered people.
So this is
All
not
Muslims are
something that
conquered
Islam
people.
is also taught.
They live.
And the
They
evidence
are
of that
free.
is a hadith
All Muhammad. All of them. All of them are conquered people. They submit to Muhammad. They are conquered physically. All of them.
It's a projection that you have with your mind. Because the truth of the matter is, what we've said today is number one, you have the verse in Numbers 31:18. You have Deuteronomy 21:6.
So look, can you step back a bit?
We have and there's other verses. There are so many of them, but I can't even enumerate them in the short space. They have been understood by biblical commentators, both Jewish and Christian, for time, including those
Sorry, excuse me.
The sword and the daughter cannot say
admit this handling. Therefore, they make some excuse to dismantle the Old Testament and they try to pretend that it doesn't exist.
all of you gathered here.
If you believe Jesus is God, then you need to separate from the Old Testament, which means
Are you not conquered? You live in fear.
if he is the God, he is the one who commanded the people. He is the one who
Is
commanded
there any
to enslave them, so on and so forth. He is the one who
you
said,
know?
he is your money when it comes to beating and abusing the slave, and so on and so forth. These verses
Muhammad.
have no
All
good
of
response
India.
today. They will not remain enslaved for all of this madness and falsehood.
Are you not conquered?
He married Hannah bin Ta'al.
Why conquered
And she
people?
was a free woman. and Jesus was a free man. This was absolutely established.
Live in fear.
And he had children with her. And those children were in fact half white, half
Can you go and tell them
nobody ostracized
want to
them
live?
except that they would meet
No.
the Prophet Muhammad as individuals of the Father. So therefore, this notion that Islam is a racist religion is something that cannot be substantial. Moreover, it's something you will not be able to find in the Bible a single verse which has condemnatory tone or an explicit remark relating to racism being a bad thing. So what have we established? So number one, the Quran has an emancipatory discourse, as mentioned in chapter 19, and as mentioned in Surah At-Tawbah, and as mentioned in chapter
Are directed from
we have mentioned that there are opinions of the Salaf that say that a slave can literally force themselves out of slavery through ransom called Mukataba.
big lie.
In alim that give them Mukataba, ransom if they know good, if you know good in them. And according to a Qurtubi, that some Salaf said this is by way of wujub, which means it's obligatory, even if the slave master wants it, which is this opinion is respected. As good as abolition. This is as good as abolition. If this opinion is not respected, then it's not. He talked about
Okay, all Muslims have a very important question to ask today. On the one hand, you have the Bible. The claim is made that Islam and the Bible, the New Testament and the Old Testament and Abraham is the origin. What I find are clear differences. In the Bible, we don't talk about racism. We don't talk about abolishing of slavery in the way that he wants them to be spoken of, because the Bible never had slavery like what Islam ever had. What you find in the Bible is the story of God empathizing with slaves, nation of Israel, redeeming them and leading them on to freedom. This is the story asked. And on the back of that, God of the Bible says, He says, not to mistreat a stranger or oppress him, because you yourselves were strangers in Egypt. So across the Bible, what you find is the God of the Bible demanding fair treatment of everyone, regardless of race, regardless of ethnicity, language spoken and so on. God is seen as God who is important in the Bible. And I asked Muhammad multiple times, can you show me a place where women were taken as sex captives? And he could show that. All that he's talking about are a few places where there was political war, and entire people were asked to be wiped out by God. My God, God of the Bible, judges. If he has a problem with that, well, I can only say judgment is coming. And a few of these judgments came in the past, Amalekites and so on. Judgments came. In contrast, what do you find in Islam? In Islam clearly says that the black people are worth as much as the Arabs. One Arab guy is worth two black guys. Black people are like racists, unbelievers are like Catholics and so on. This resulted in very harsh treatments. Sex torture of female slaves find in various portions of the Hadith, Quran 4:3, 424, Surah Al-Kubra, 2227 and so on. Multiple places you find sex torture of female slaves, Umar torturing female slaves. No rights being given. Quran, Surah 16, Ayah 75 says, slaves control nothing. No right whatsoever. And that free men cannot be punished for the murder of a slave. Quran, Surah 2, Ayah 178. Also repeated in Tafsir. So the point is, torture of sex slaves. No rights. Free men are not equal to the slaves. So clearly no equal treatment. And this therefore resulted in Muhammad not permitting or not allowing manumission to happen. Sahih al-Bukhari 5:57-99. 3:765, we find Bilal continuing as a slave. If Bilal says this to Abu Bakr, if you have bought me for yourself, if you have bought me for yourself, then keep me for yourself. But if you have bought me for Allah's sake, then keep me for Allah's words. He is pleading. This great man, who is the one who calls people to pray for prayer, he is pleading. If you have bought me for the sake of Allah, leave me alone. And you are still keeping me as a slave. So Muhammad continued to keep people as slaves. Sahih al-Bukhari 3:765, 5:541 and so on. Slaves working for Muhammad.
Talk about Muhammad. Talk about Muhammad. Talk about Muhammad. I want any Muslim to talk to me about Muhammad. First of all, is Muhammad was the prophet. So let's talk.
Worse than cattle. Worse than cattle. Cattle are better.
As we see today, you're presented with straight facts and you cannot move away from them. You cannot solve them. You cannot deal with them. You cannot hermeneutically, acrobatically, gymnastically get away from them. And the reality of the situation is you're dealt with a blunt truth right to your face. I'm sitting here today and you're just worrying, scared, and absolutely
I was going, he gave me a map about Quran. I got me a copy of Quran. I went and read it and I refuted on the name. He did not want to talk about it.
It's like a demon possessed. No one will involved with a demon possessed person. Talk like a human being. You're talking like you have a demon inside you right now. Come down.
You are demon in Islam. You are demon in Islam.
Jesus take the demons. Demons like this. He will come back and he will demons
Talk about Muhammad.
You are a demon. You are a demon man.
I am in
Talk
charge
about Muhammad.
With respect, and there'll be hundreds of those if you do any time.
What Muhammad was saying or not? What Muhammad was saying? Muslims say that Muhammad was possessed. Do you agree or not? Do you agree or not?
I challenge you to show
You want to say was Muhammad a sinner or not? That is what we want to talk about. This is what we want to talk about.
there's no
What we want to talk about. We want to talk. We want
we find these
We want to talk about whether Muhammad was a sinner or not. I want to talk about whether Muhammad was a sinner. Do you agree? Do you agree?
What is it? Moreover,
Do you agree?
let's be honest and say that even in the New Testament,
You have to agree first. You have to agree first.
Jewish person is
No.
yes, that's what he said. Okay.
Are we talking about that's the way they do? You want to talk about Muhammad? Or you want to talk about
That's racism.
you want to talk about Muhammad? Are we talking about? Are we talking? If I want to talk about Jesus, what I'm doing when I tell you, I had a discussion with somebody called
the way it was.
I never mentioned racism.
The only person
talk about the church.
was the
You
only
understand? I never mentioned anything. Everyone is talking about Bible. I will not mention anything about that. Nothing.
Thank you very much.
Nothing to me.
Deal with
I want to talk about Bible. I will talk about Bible.